Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Well, hello.
Hi, welcome to Lady Journey.
Welcome, everybody. We are back. We're back again.
We're back. It doesn't feel like, for y'all, it feels like we've been gone a long time, a month.
Yeah.
But Katie and I just did a whole bunch last week.
Yeah.
But now we're making a bunch of episodes for, it's just too busy for the holiday season. So that's what we're preparing. We want to make sure you guys have Lady Journeys all lined up for you for the month of December.
We will never leave you hanging. Not on this journey.
This journey?
No, not during the holidays when we're all spinning out. This is your safe space. If you are planning a party and it's going awry, just take a tiny little weed mint, okay?
Yes.
1 milligram, that's all you need.
Pop on a Lady Journey episode.
And scrub your bathtub. You know you want to.
I love pretending like, and this is for the 70% men and 30% women out there.
Yes, this one's for you, Carl. Now, as I was telling you earlier, before we got interrupted a little bit, but I found when I was at the Comedy Cellar, as you know, my place of business,
on a regular appearance.
Yes, I share my talents there.
Yeah, with the greats.
Oh yeah, it's me and
Dave
Chappelle. Chris Rock. One time he said hi to me.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was just sitting down at the table, but and I was there, and I laughed like this.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, excuse me. I love your Krispy Kreme bit from 2001. But so I was sitting there having my salad as I do, and I ran into Ron Hirschberg.
My upstairs neighbor,
and that's when I found out from him that I have actually been buzzing him almost every time I come over to do the podcast.
Well, you're not the only one. Apparently, Amazon just presses any old button, and it's, you know what? I do believe you just let anybody into our apartment.
Just let him in. Hi, coming down to the basement. It's me, a non-threatening woman. I feel like if I was Ronan, I would be like, "Hey, Katie, it's Ronan. How you doing?"
He didn't.
No.
He just buzzed you in.
Just buzzed me in, and then at a later date was like, "Just so you know, I'm the one who's been buzzing you in." Say, "Well, you want the credit now. You want the credit now, don't you?"
Well, he's gonna feel real bad when you kill us all.
Yeah. Which I'm going to, but only by poison.
Yes. Which is so ladies. Did you know that?
Ladies.
Women poison.
Women poison, and I know why, because I jokingly, Mike and I, we play around sometimes in the apartment, and I tried to squeeze his neck as hard as I could just to see. And boy, my hand cramped up real fast. And so I said, I think I get it. I think I would have to poison you. Because my hands are so weak. I have very weak gripping strength.
Let you try to choke him out?
Yeah, it was like, to him, it was like a light neck massage, I guess. I remember when I was in college, we did the gripping test. There was like a machine, and you squeezed it, and it assessed your gripping strength.
Oh my God.
And mine was like remedial. It was like, I need those like things
You're
that you
ghost.
Squeeze. Yeah. That's how I find out. So, yeah.
Oh my God, this is totally, I'm wondering if Joe will let me bring this into our relationship culture.
Yeah, pretend it's a sex thing at first, Like, ooh, I'm choking you.
I was trying to do a bit. I was talking, I don't know if I brought this up on Lady Journey. I may have just brought it up to you privately.
Yeah.
But doesn't it feel like the girls that are always bragging about how the reason why they're into choking is because they're just so dominant in life, and that they're just alphas and they just like to be dominated in the bedroom? And it just feels like I'm not into that. And the reason why I'm like, I just don't like meddling my violence with sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I think you were
it's a
saying
dangerous line, but it just feels like the only reason why I would let a guy choke me during my single days is because I just really wanted him to like me.
Yeah. You're like, I'm just really into him staying.
That's my fetish. But
Yes.
it's just like, it just seems like such a power move to be like, the reason why I'm into choking is I'm just such an alpha and I just need to be
Yes.
spit in the face and keep everything on an even keel out there.
It's an edgy thing, and it's in to be edgy right now. I
Yeah.
think it's like kind of trendy to be like, yeah, I'm like that type of person that I just like get
I can
nipple
handle
clamps.
it.
And
Yeah.
you're like, well, I'm into a light, like hugging for about 30 minutes prior. I call it the warm up. It is interesting too, like different. Mike and I were kind of joking around about this, where we have different sexual fantasies. Like Mike, he'll always jokingly be like, "I'm a stranger." I'm like, "I don't feel safe." He's like, "Well, who can I be then?" I'm like, "How about a non-threatening coworker?" You know, like
Yeah, and then he's like, "Who's that?" And you just bring someone in your life into the bedroom, and they have no idea that you've brought them
Yeah,
into the
I'm like,
bedroom.
How about Ted?
Yeah,
How about your Ted? He's always been very polite.
a feminist. I'm thinking of Ted Alexandra.
Yes. Oh, hot. No, but we respect his marriage. But
Absolutely.
he is a very handsome man
But that's
and
like,
father.
I get that way personally attacked when people are like polyamorous. It's almost in the way that they tell you that is like, I've just moved on to the next level, and then I can
Yes.
handle many intimate relationships. I'm like, well, I guess I'm just a silly Billy and can only handle one intimate relationship.
Yeah, I guess I'm just stupid. I'm sexually stupid. Well, I mean, it's like, of course, do whatever you want. Everyone should do
No.
whatever you want. There's no judgment, but
Yeah.
but I do find that when people have different lifestyles, sometimes maybe it's from their own insecurity, but they do kind of communicate it to you with this weird arrogance where you're like, I mean, yes, I'm sorry, I've never had sex in a dumpster. Like, I don't actually want to do that, and it's not my interest. You know, I'm kind of boring, I guess.
Yes.
You're like, vanilla is like very derogatory. You know, it's like,
is.
but it's a great flavor, and we would not be able to bake without it. Okay,
And
it's in everything.
And vanilla bean is super expensive and rare to get. So
Absolutely is. And chocolate, okay. You know, it's like, what's the other flavors, you know?
yeah, bubblegum. No. What are
No,
you, a
thank you.
child?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. But it kind of has that feeling of like when somebody's like, well, God only gives you what you can handle. And you're like, I guess he thinks I'm just stupid.
I guess God thinks I'm boring. Well,
Oh,
welcome to Lady Journey,
welcome to
everybody.
Lady
I
Journey.
like that this is the journey of the podcast. We start out with alternative sex lifestyles.
we
And then
we had
segue-
intentions of starting with Cookie Party.
Cookie Party, which is my journey, my little vanilla journey that I'm on, which I actually am really, really jazzed about this. And
Yes.
So just so you know, you'll be getting an invite to the Cookie Party.
Oh, first of all, I'm excited. Because I'm sober, I like any party now that doesn't involve alcohol.
Yes, I think that's going to be a key element of this party. It's going to be more of like coffee and tea. I have a new teapot which is electric, which I got because of eco-conscious, and I have my Keurig, and they actually match. Hello, they're both robin's egg blue.
Oh,
So,
I love that color.
I'm having like this vision of, I have this like kind of larger table in my living room area. There's going to be a cookie station, and then there's going to be a little beverage station.
Okay.
And I've added a new herbal tea to my collection. I now have lavender, which I splurged on and
Okay,
ordered.
I thought you were going to go into the sweet rose.
Oh, this
That's
is
a
my
staple.
new.
No.
I love my sweet rose, and if you've been listening, you know that it's
When
both
you know, you know.
stress relieving and magical. But so the Cookie Party, I have been doing a lot of research online. This seems to be a big topic amongst the blogs of how to host the perfect cookie party, and I do find a lot of these to be like really type A rules that I'm like,
Oh, I love this.
yeah,
Well, I had questions at the very beginning when Katie threw this out at me. I hadn't really heard it, but in my mind, I kind of put the context clues together. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's obviously cookies are there,
yes.
and it's a group of people are going to be there.
Yeah.
But my confusion was, do we make the cookies there, or do we make them at home and then we bring them there?
So my vision is everyone shows up with about 2 to 3 dozen cookies.
Okay.
Which is not, that's like a batch, one batch, right?
Yeah.
Everybody shows up with a batch. We all try to go outside the box. And I'm going to keep it small, by the way. I'm only going to really invite 5 or 6 people. Just a few girlfriends who are into cookies, into baking, into the Lady Journey lifestyle, which is unfortunately kind of vanilla, but in a fun way where if we want to fuck a neighbor, we will. We're going to bring him in.
Who
we'll
knows?
blow him.
I went to a sweater party once and it went out of control.
Really?
We just ended up doing blow all night.
Oh my gosh, I love your Coke stories.
15 years ago. This was a long time ago.
This was pre-Lady Journey.
It was pre-Lady, clearly.
Oh boy. So for my cookie party vision, we're all bringing the cookies, and then I'm gonna provide some very cute little. Haven't quite wrapped my mind around it yet, but I'd like to get some maybe reusable cardboard or plastic boxes, and then everybody gets to take like half a dozen or however much they want of each of the batches that whoever brings, and then we're all leaving with our own cookie sampler tray.
See, I like that.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of getting this is why I think I like cookies better than cupcakes.
Oh yeah,
They last a little bit longer. They don't go as stale, but then you put them in a box and you don't have to worry them about like flailing around, get the icing gets ruined or anything like that. And then I also like the presentation of it.
that's what I love too. I love having, it is almost like we were talking about in our decor episode, like having these like living decorations of like just like a little, maybe like a see-through plastic box of cookies that you just have in the kitchen, and it's like one after dinner, or 7, however you're feeling. You do you.
A sleeve.
So that's my main vision for the cookie party. And again, like I was reading on these blogs, and it was like each woman must bring 6 dozen cookies, and everyone leaves with a dozen. And I was like, oh my God, this is too much. Nobody's baking 6 dozen cookies in their tiny New York City oven.
Do you think there will be controversy if somebody came in with Oreos?
I really hope that no one will do that. Because, like, okay, well, if someone does, like, white chocolate covered with, like, a little snowman on top.
An upselling of it.
Upcycling the Oreo. I love that, and I'm fine with that. I do hope that no one does do that, because I'm specifically inviting girls and boys that I know who enjoy baking, who really enjoy baking, because I think the fun of it to me is we all have something in common, and we're getting to kind of celebrate it in a way that we don't usually get to. Because I think like, comics are, like you go to a party and it's like, bring a dish, and everyone has like a bag of Doritos, and you're like, well, I do like that. But this is not festive.
Yes.
This is
One
not
time
festive.
we had you try to do a get together on the holidays every year. And some days I'm like, I swear this person got this as a gift and they've regifted this food or candy to us. Yeah.
And I don't want that at my cookie party.
Do not bring that energy into the cookie party.
This is an authentic party for bakers. Well, if somebody wanted to do like scones, for example, I love that. Like, there's going to be freedom to go off. Like a lot of the blogs I was reading were suggesting that like you assign the cookies to everyone, and everybody do like you can know people doing the same. It's like, obviously chocolate chip is the go-to.
Yes.
My favorite cookie, all-time favorite, as everyone knows, oatmeal raisin. I probably am going to want to do something more like holiday theme. Like I may choose a molasses or something that's like a little more
like
December-ish.
I'm into like a ginger snap.
Love a ginger snap. I love...
Or a frosted oatmeal.
Ooh, yeah. I like a cowboy cookie, which is like chocolate chip, oats, and coconut.
Yes.
Which is not necessarily holiday themed, but my mom makes the most incredible. It's very tricky type of cookie to make. You roll out sugar cookie dough, and then you have like a date frosting that you make, and then you roll it and you cut those. So it's like a date swirl.
That sounds really good.
So good. So I would like to challenge myself a little bit and make something that I can, celebrate with my girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yes. And I think the goal in mind should be like, I want to have the best cookie at the party.
Ooh, I love a competition.
Yes. But I don't know. People are really different or have different opinions about what is a good cookie to them.
True.
Joe and I are very different on the chocolate chip spectrum.
Really, what do you like, crispy or chewy? Because I love a soft chewy. I do not like crispy.
I don't like super crispy,
Yeah.
but I like it thin, and I like it really buttery. And I also,
Ooh.
this is really weird, but I actually like chocolate chip cookies without chocolate chips in them.
Yes, I know what you mean, because
I
you
think
really
the
taste
chocolate
the
can-
richness of
yes.
the butter and the sugar, the brown sugar. Oh, delicious.
Yeah, and I like a good sugar cookie. But again, for the holiday season, like if you come in with a ginger snap, yeah, I will be impressed.
Look out.
Look
out.
Yeah.
Now, so the cookies, that's going to be, that. It is what it is. I'm not going to, whatever people want to bring. When I send out the email, I'm just going to suggest that we go with more holiday stuff, but I'm not going to be like totalitarian about it.
Yeah.
Because I want this to be a fun social event. And I don't want to be like, it just seemed like some of the people that wrote these blogs were the type of people to be like, oh, hi, Jane. I thought we talked about this and you have brownies. So I want it to be welcoming.
Well, this is what I want you to do. I want you to kind of keep it loose.
Keep it loose.
And see what kind of person comes in like a maverick.
Oh, I love this idea.
And I will hopefully get to be there and witness being
Yeah.
like, wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, somebody really impressed us. And we will update you on the Patreon. We'll keep that on the Patreon. By the way, join $5 for bonus episodes every single week, and they're very fun.
We will give you the gossip of the cookie party, because I guarantee you someone will come out where you're like, okay, I mean, it is a cookie, but
yeah, like a peppermint bark. You're like, well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we're going to be friends after this, but...
And you're like, of course you would do that.
Of course you.
Yeah.
Now this is the other part of the cookie party that I'm really, really excited about, because I'm gonna set it for like 1 p.m. weekday, so I can be welcoming to like comedians.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be serving a very light, healthy lunch, because my thinking is that if I do like, maybe some like little mini tiny quiches in the muffin tin, little salad,
Or like
little
maybe I'll
fruit
make
bowl.
cucumber sandwiches.
Yes,
Like
something
a
like that.
tea sandwich.
Yeah, like
something.
all tea stuff, because then we can all have like a healthy lunch, and then you don't want to come in and have a really rich lunch and then be going to town on the cookies.
Yes.
So I want to balance it out that way, and I'll have my coffee, my teas, and so
Shall
that's my
we
vision.
Bring a question game or something to
That's
find out
okay.
some details.
Yes, yes, and yes. You are on my journey. You are so on my journey right now.
Because you need slight conversation starters.
Little icebreakers. And
Yeah.
it can always be awkward sometimes, I think, like doing questions at like a Lady Journey style party, where it's a fine line between really fun and corny.
Yes.
And what we don't want to do is like workplace icebreakers. But I wanted to try to do something that was like almost like, what's something that you're really proud of yourself for doing this year?
Yes.
And just like support in a fun way, and just be like, you know what, like, why don't we all just celebrate ourselves? Because women and like gay guys too, I think like we do have the tendency to like, we don't want to brag about ourselves, and then meanwhile like everyone straight in the world is like, well, I was just on my tour when I was making $25K, and you're like, I don't
Or like circling their 1 million followers on Instagram.
yeah,
I'm like, well, good for you.
good for you. I'll be at my cookie party celebrating myself. So yeah, I would like to, I really think that is such a fun element of any like daytime party, is like
Yes.
doing a little fun preparation where it's like facilitating the party.
My number one question, like a hang or like if with a group of people, is like a rose, thorn, and I forgot the other one, rain, something to look forward to. So like the rose is like,
Ooh.
what was the best thing of the year? Thorn, what was the worst thing of the year? And then what's something to look forward to in the new year?
Love it.
And you can do this. I think this is always like a great conversation thing, and everybody usually seems to be on board.
yeah.
And you can go, nobody has to get super deep. So
Yes.
you're not
nobody
like
needs to
digging
go, like,
deep.
like-
All your miscarriages that you had that
Right,
year.
right. It can just be a
you
sweater
want,
that you found.
I
Yeah.
love when somebody brings that kind of energy into a party.
Yeah, because also the cookies are there already.
Yeah.
So we just have a little, oh no. I think that's fun. And I like putting the parameters on it in the beginning to be like, it's however deep you want to go. Like, no one's being pressured to like reveal, but also, we all overshare.
Yeah.
We all overshare.
I think a good shitting in your pants story is a good thorn.
That is, what a thorn.
Yeah.
What a thorn in your pants. So yes, I'm really looking forward to my cookie party. And I have been really committing myself by telling people. I've already invited a couple people. I have a couple people on the list, and I will not flake. So help me God. I will not flake on my own cookie party. I'm making a public commitment.
And that a cookie party, just even if you threw that out there with a date, I think it's something that it won't stress you out.
It's going to be easy. It's going to be lunch with friends. And I am trying to do more fun stuff like this in my life.
Yes.
So that's my cookie journey.
I'm looking forward to it. And I absolutely agree with you, because this last year was my idea was to have more fun.
Yes. Oh,
And you
that.
forget about it. And I had fun, but I think I could have more fun.
You can always have more. I feel like I wish that had been my idea this year. I think my idea this year was to work more, and I definitely did it. I've worked to the point that nothing is fun, and it never will be again.
And
But
no matter
now-
how hard I work, I will never achieve happiness.
It's not there. It is not there. Put down the spreadsheet. Now, speaking of vanilla.
Speaking of vanilla,
Yeah.
so Joe was like, I don't know if I a lot of times go on the road with Joe, and this time around I was like, sure, I'll do it. But he already prefaced that we're going to Hartford, Connecticut, and that it's at the Hartford Funny Bone.
Hartford is one of the forgotten towns of the East Coast. Because you hear Connecticut and you think like,
Wasps.
oh, Stamford.
Ooh, white jeans.
Yes.
Just like the hoitiest people ever.
And then you go to some of these other different places in Connecticut, like Bridgeport, where you're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's not doing great.
I find, but this is like a really good example of America. And I feel like this is what my journey into Bridgeport or Hartford, Connecticut was like. It's just like, yes, America has like really nice things, but then you go into some of these towns and you're like, what the fuck is happening right now?
It does actually feel like, we have a lot of ego and identity built into the fact that America,
the exceptionalism.
Oh yeah, that we're exceptional, that we don't have the problems that these developing countries do. And then sometimes you get outside of your little bubble and you see like there is a lot of stuff going wrong. It does feel like.
Well, it's just like interesting. We went to Macy's, and I don't know. I've been to several other malls in America lately because that's all there is to do on the road. And I've
We
actually,
love malls. We love malls.
and I do. It's like fun to kill time, but like lately these malls, I'm like, what is happening in here?
Yeah, we did our mall episode last year, and we talked about the decline of the American mall, and it feels like they've only gone lower. It's not been a good year for the mall.
We went into Macy's, and I almost told Joe, I was like, you should go on ahead. They need me here. I was like, there should be a work program in America, like for comics. I would totally do this on the road. During the day, you have so much time to kill. Like, I wouldn't mind just filling out a 1099 and just getting paid to fold clothes at department stores.
Temping at Macy's. I would love that, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, what, just go make a quick 60
100,
bucks.
yeah,
like, you're good.
Maybe, like, and then maybe fold clothes and be like, can I get these shoes?
Yeah. Just a little work exchange.
Well, it was like, and I've done this too. I find myself doing this at Starbucks. I think a lot of places seem to be overwhelmed and they're understaffed. And sometimes I'm like, do you guys need me to go sort your inventory for you? Because you don't understand how much I enjoy cleaning. And a lot of the times I walk into these businesses and I want to be like, clearly you guys don't have the time to do this and you're understaffed. Like, let me just unload these boxes for you.
I will be your Marie Kondo.
I will be your Marie Kondo.
They should have something like that, like a gig economy for businesses, because it's like, well, I mean, the reason they don't have any employees is probably because they treat people like shit. Like, let's be honest, you're working with like a weird boss.
Yes.
And he's like yelling at you because he's not doing great in his life.
Okay, they're getting paid like $40,000 a year, and they're managing people that also don't want to be there, which is very like wears on you. Like
Yeah.
these jobs aren't great, and totally I would not want to do it. But just if to go and do the tedious, boring tasks for just like $10 an hour, and I could just listen to a podcast.
Oh,
Why not?
folding. It's therapeutic
It
almost.
is
at a point.
therapeutic,
Yeah.
but I was kind of shocked going into this Macy's. Joe was joking around saying it was more like emaciated. Like, in
Yeah.
the mall, Macy's to me,
It's the North Star.
it's the North Star. It's the upper echelon of the mall.
Yeah.
Unless you have Saks
Or like a Nordstrom
or a
rack.
Nordstrom, like that to me, if you've got a mall that has that, and then you're in a mall that's doing great.
Yes.
But this mall didn't even have a Gap. If you don't even have a Gap, I'm like, something's going on here.
The town's not doing good. The town is in trouble. Just feels like the entire country is like turning into the Rust Belt.
It is, and then you'd walk by stores, and Joe and I would be like, this store should just be called, here's some more crap.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah.
crap that you don't need.
Knickknacks, tomfoolery.
There was 4 stores that were just like Spencer's Gifts in one
Mm.
mall.
Oh, you need so much more variety than that to make a really great mall. I love like a food court. I love a chocolate Fannie Mae. You need so many options because
Yeah.
the whole point of going to the mall is to be overwhelmed with the variety.
Endless possibilities. Even
Ugh.
like everything was very depressing, and just like there was hardly anyone in the mall, and we were like, around Thanksgiving this place should be like thriving. This is when
Yeah.
people are starting to do Christmas shopping or holiday shopping, and you can get a lot of deals, but it was just kind of like amazing to see like how decrepit this place was. And then it's just like, and that was, we were just like looking forward to doing stuff there, and it was just kind of like,
Mall bummer.
a mall bummer.
Yeah,
That's
mall
all you
bummer.
have to live for when you're on the road sometimes,
Yeah.
and this was a major mall bummer.
Now, I was in Hartford recently also, and I felt the same thing about the town where it's the kind of town where it's like it's a downtown and it's a small downtown, and then you realize like not a lot of people that work in the downtown or like patronize the comedy club or the bar or whatever. Like nobody actually lives in the downtown, so it's just like on the weekends at 5 p.m. everything is just dead.
Yeah,
You know, it's like a few people at the restaurants, but then, everybody's driving and they're just going out. So it just feels like a ghost town.
Yeah, and it was weird because it's actually it says it's Hartford, but it's actually Manchester. It's really confusing.
Okay.
It says Hartford Funny Bone, but it's in the town of Manchester.
Okay. So I was in Hartford proper, I guess.
Okay.
I was very close to the downtown.
Okay. Yes, it's I don't want to, Shanna, I feel like if I lived there, I could find some stuff that I would
Oh, if you lived
enjoy,
there, I
like
think,
hiking stuff was probably
do
nearby.
suburban lifestyle, or you have your other shops, but yeah, the mall.
The
Bummer.
mall bummer. But then things kicked up a notch at the
Ooh.
Hartford Funny Bone.
Okay, do tell.
We had a situation that I never thought I would ever be approached like this, because I don't give off that vibe, nor does my act. We finished Friday late show. A couple came up to us, and they were just kind of like, they looked fucked up. Like, first
Yeah.
of all, they're like, the guy's like around her. He's doing what I've seen called online the baby daddy hug, where he doesn't have any money and the woman pays for everything, but he just tries to pay her and like just holding on to her.
Oh,
It's so
like,
funny.
Is it like hugging from behind?
Yes. And
I
like
it
just
when Mike does that to
resting.
me.
But you do it all the time while they're at the register.
Oh,
You do it in
okay.
people's personal space.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like weird. Somebody
It's a
had
red flag, yeah,
it
right
is-
away.
I had never noticed it, but if you look at it in public and see the couples that are doing it nearby, or like while business transactions are happening, it's like it's the woman that's like taking care of something, and then it's the guy that's just kind of like behind her, holding her.
Ooh,
It's-
interesting.
I will have to see if I can find this on TikTok. This is where I saw it.
It's like he's vicariously paying for
Yes.
stuff by hugging her.
Yes, it's like his way of acting like he's part of the process, but he's just a deadbeat.
Interesting.
So that was kind of the vibe, and she was like, "We want to take you home," and
Whoa.
then you're just like, "Oh." She was like, "He's never done this before." And then I was like, "Well, I'm married." And she was like, "He can come too."
Whoa.
So Joe and I got asked, but it was so funny in the scheme of things. Like, if you get asked, I guess everyone's like, oh, it's like hot and fun. And you're like, Joe and I were like, we're not foursome people. It was really weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's a weird way to get asked too. I feel like
We were thrown off.
I almost
never expected it.
I almost would prefer a little more like, may I buy you a drink? We'd love to get to know you. Because when it gets so transactional like that, it's like,
I felt
sex now. You give it to me. And you're like, I don't know that I need to be romanced. I'm not saying I would never do a foursome. I mean, if it was the right couple, or if my marriage was on the rocks. If I was married, I don't know. But you never know the future. But yeah, I don't like to be like, imagine if a guy came up to you like, I don't want to fuck you. You're like, sir.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I need time. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm just, first of all, I'm not even like, I was not even physically attracted. They weren't ugly people,
Yeah.
but they were just kind of like drunk or out of it.
Yeah. And you need a good personality of like charisma. Hi, how are you? Ask me about my childhood.
I know it would make sense if Joe and I were on a vacation and we were at a beach bar and we hit it off with a lovely couple.
Now that would be fun. Now that sounds like Mexico.
But this felt like a numbers game. It was just really weird. Joe, and it was just funny. You never know how you would respond, but we were kind of like, we didn't want to hurt two people's feelings.
Yeah.
That it was just making me laugh to be like, pretend that we just did one last night and we were just like so tired tonight.
Yeah, I love this reputation that you and Joe have now as just like the sexually experimental comedians where you're like, they do foursomes, but only one per weekend. And so you got to go to the early show.
But if you watch my act, I don't really talk about sex in a way like that. I'm never like, and then he came on my tits, and then I was like, you know what I mean? Like, if it is, it's just like goofballs and one little quick throwaway joke. It's not like the basis. So you're like, I don't understand where I threw that out, nor was what I was wearing.
That's the funny thing about women. It's like you can go to all this work to make yourself not be a sexual object. You can wear like a body bag and people are still like, yeah, she wants it.
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Joe said he talked to that couple while he was on stage and he was like, I definitely felt something weird from them. Because she had yelled out, maybe I can. And he's like, oh, what about your date? Like, is he fine? And he's like, the guy was like, don't worry about me, dude. And then Joe was like, okay, well, this is weird. So
what a bizarre place to pick up another couple. Like, let's go to their work and let's just put it out there.
I was like, well, it doesn't hurt to ask, I guess. You have to throw it out there. So it's trying to make her feel better. I get it. You have to throw it out there. So good for you for being brave.
I support you.
I didn't want to shame them.
Yeah.
But like logistically, like I can't picture the car ride to wherever they were going to take us.
Oh no, that's scary. You're just going into the woods and you're like, was this a mistake? They're just drunk driving you into the woods.
Joe, we're sober and they were clearly like fucked up.
Yeah.
I was like, Joe, it would look like we were in a CPR seminar. Like it would just be two of us with our switched partners like resuscitating dead people.
Or I like the idea of you and Joe just kind of turn it into an AA meeting. And you're like, we think you guys might have a problem actually. And before the blowjobs, we want you to think about what you've done.
We just also pictured that couple by the time we reached. I don't even know if they were in a hotel. Clearly not. We would probably go to their house or trailer.
Oh. Or apartment. Yeah.
Or apartment. And then I suspect they would have been passed out and then it would have just been Joe and I like having sex next to them. But we probably wouldn't have had sex and just watched TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like the idea of you just staying there. You're like, let's make sure they're okay. You know, just the most responsible
But that's the thing. We're not foursome people. And the reason why, and I actually think foursome is a no-no. I actually think a threesome makes more sense. You're in, you're
makes
out.
more sense. Or like something more, to me, I think something more makes sense, like a big like key party, you know, where it's like we're all getting on board secretly with everybody in the neighborhood, you know, and you kind of already know these people, you know. It's like I cannot
a one and done, and we never speak of this again in our neighborhood
until January when we're at Paul's house, Paul and Linda. But yeah, for me, I have always found this. One time I did have a one night stand. Again, we kept in touch for 6 months. He asked me to marry him. So it's hard for me to have sex with a stranger. I just want to have the emotional,
yes.
You know, if I spent all night connecting with somebody, or maybe like all day and all night, had a really long time to like connect emotionally with somebody, I feel like maybe it could happen, but I guess I'm just prudish in that way where I don't feel comfortable. I'm like, I can't be like, you know, telling somebody how to pleasure me, to put it in a way that I feel won't be flagged on the internet. If I don't know, you know. And then also I was a very, you know, I've said in a couple episodes ago, I was a very nervous sexual partner, you know, so I need to see documents from your last exams.
Absolutely. How long have you guys been together, and are you guys monogamous? And it feels like maybe you're not.
Yeah, it feels like you guys kind of are cruising.
I know I was most likely going to get a UTI from this weekend. But it was like, it is one of those things where you're like, I've heard about this happening, but I cannot believe it happened. And it not to me, because I just feel like I don't have that vibe.
But isn't it nice to know that you did?
I did.
Like, wow,
yes.
You just really gave off an aura of, I will sleep with a guy who can't pay for stuff. Climb on to me, little guy.
I know. I really wish Joe and I, knowing now where we stand in the foursome world, what we're pulling in as a couple.
Yeah.
I do think we did okay, but I do think maybe we could do better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Well, one time I was really into going to one of my girlfriends. This is a few years ago. She went to. This has become such a salacious episode, by the way. As we set up, we're so vanilla.
And
but I thought of going to a sex club. I just thought about it. Well, my girlfriend, one time she was going on vacation with her fiance at the time, and there was a mix-up, quote unquote, according to her, and she tried to choose an adults-only resort, which actually was a resort for people who were looking to be sexually promiscuous, to put it in a delicate way.
Yes.
And so she was pretending that she had done it accidentally, and then, you know, whoopsie, oh my God, I just clicked and I couldn't get my deposit back. So she was telling us.
And they told me to never talk about this again.
They said I had signed a waiver. So I always had kind of a fantasy of doing something like that, where it's like you're with your partner and it's safe, and so I looked into going to one trip I took to Palm Springs, favorite.
Joe and I recently just watched a softcore porn on Showtime for shits and giggles, and it was taking place in Palm Springs, which leads me to believe that is the place that this happens.
Palm Springs is very sexy. I mean, well, they do have the bathhouses there for the gay guys. It's like that's like a big place to go.
Well, did you know the upside down pineapple?
That's a swinger thing.
Sign, yeah.
That is a swinger thing. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize it was upside down. I thought it was any pineapple, which now I realize I have been confused about some stuff. Like,
you're like,
okay,
I need to go back and owe an apology.
Yeah. But I was looking into going to this place. It was called the Sea Mountain Resort Spa. And the website looked like really cool. It looked like really, you know, it's like I don't want to. I'm not at the point in my sexual adventure where I'm willing to like get into a full-on orgy or something. Yes. But what if we just went to like a naughty spa? Like, what if we just went?
Yes. I've always wanted to just be like, I just like to check out stuff. Like, I would love to just go to a room of an orgy and they just let me watch.
Just, you know, just like dip your toe in, nothing crazy. And again, you know, if you're my parents, don't listen to this episode. Skip to the next one. Well, thank you for the support.
It just reminds me of the reason why is because, like, I love looking at different cultures.
Yes.
And I definitely think that's a culture.
It is. It's like a subculture.
It is.
Of like sexual exploration.
And growing up, I remember we had HBO and they had a series called Real Sex.
Yes.
And
I
it was
remember this.
set in New York. A lot of it was just like a lot of man on the street asking you questions like, have you ever had a threesome? And then they would have like side sex stories or like documentary style. And some of it would be like swinger parties. And I remember growing up, and I'm talking about like elementary, middle school.
Mhm.
And I was like, this world is fascinating to
It's
me.
really fascinating, and it's fascinating the people that are so immersed in it that they, you know, just this completely different life that they have.
Yes.
From you know, me with my cookie party.
Can these two worlds collide?
Right. So so that was my so I ended up, long story short, because we are running a bit short on time here, I looked into the Sea Mountain Resort Spa, and I am very grateful that I did, as I do, obsessively read the reviews, and a lot of them were actually pretty hilarious, where they were like, first of all, the food is bad. And it's like, well, I didn't think it was going to be great, but if somebody's writing a review that the food is terrible,
Then the sex wasn't great.
the sex is not. And also, it's like, you know me, like, if the food is bad, like, I can't go. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to be starving.
Same.
I'm not going to be starving. Like, I need a croissant. I need a muffin. I need
I need a buffet or a spread happening.
a spread. That's all I ask. A crudité at the very least. So anyway, the other reviews were like, everyone here was very old.
Of course.
And
And it makes sense because this is my theory is like, I think younger, you're so like, I got to keep my number down.
yeah,
Of the person.
there's
And then as you
social
get
pressure.
older, you just like,
You're like,
who
I got to get my number
cares?
up. I got to get my number up. I can't die. I can't die under 20 as my number.
That you don't see it as this precious thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like a fun activity, I
It's
guess.
a fun thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, we ended up not going because the reviews really dissuaded me. It was like everyone was really old, and then me and my boyfriend just wanted to swim in the pool, and then people were being mean to us about it. And I was like, I cannot put myself in an emotionally unsafe situation where it's like,
Yeah.
I
they
can't be
resent
like,
you.
there's like the popular people at the sex party are being mean to me. It's like, no, I can't go there. Well, what a journey this has been on. I mean, we
What a
covered the gamut.
journey.
We covered the gamut today.
So, but Joe did tell me he's had some of the weirdest sex propositions happen in Connecticut that we suggest that is one horny state.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Or
So
s-
if you want to get out there, try Hartford. Try Hartford. It's like that's why nobody's downtown
Yeah,
on the weekends,
just
because
throw it
they're
out
all
there.
having sex parties.
Yes.
Well, everybody, don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube. We really want people
Yes.
to subscribe. It's right down there.
Join our Patreon. We have bonus episodes timed out every Saturday morning. I release them Friday at midnight.
And we do tons
So
of
you
fun
wake
stuff.
up with scones and coffee and a
Oh.
lady journey in the morning.
How great is that?
Mm.
It's really fun. And we've been
We
working
are your
hard.
friends.
We've been working hard.
Super hard.
Lady Journey.
Lady journey.